My name is Anna Mae. I am an artist and facilitator and a solopreneur. And I would give Adobe Photoshop a 4. Prior to Adobe Photoshop, I was using this web-based graphic design tool. I think it was called GIMP. So it's pretty old school, not user-friendly at all. So as soon as I had the opportunity to start using Adobe Photoshop, I jumped right into it. I chose Adobe Photoshop because it was the most straightforward, comprehensive graphic design program that I knew about at the time. That really did everything that I needed it to do, and so much more. Like, it was actually a very overwhelming software. I only needed like maybe 10% of the capacity of what it could do. But that 10% was like everything I needed that I couldn't find in other. I would find a little bit here in this one program, a little bit this other. Adobe Photoshop was the one software I found that had all the different capacities to make collages and build posters and flyers, like those kinds of things. So I will say that Adobe Photoshop has a very simple learning curve as far as like figuring out the basics relatively quickly, like how to put an image together and change, manipulate the colors and the texture. But it has a steep learning curve when it comes to like really diving into building like a polished visual presence. So that was where I would encounter more frustration. But when it came to being able to like jump right in and get immediate projects done fairly quickly, that was where my experience with Adobe Photoshop really shined. So the biggest advice I would give for somebody looking to bring Adobe Photoshop into your business is ask yourself, how frequently and consistently do you need access to dependable, comprehensive graphic design? Because if you use graphic design every day or multiple times a week, then it may be worth it for you to go with Adobe Photoshop in its current incarnation as a subscription model. Back when I used Adobe Photoshop, it was freestanding software. And I wasn't using it consistently and frequently enough for me to justify signing up for a subscription model. But if you're someone who, you have an inspired idea at 3 a.m, you want to be able to access Adobe Photoshop to implement it right then and there, and you know that will come up for you often, or if you have team members who want to continually and consistently tweak their designs, then it'd be worth it for you to get the subscription.